So if I was going to find the volume of the number 1, what would I do? How do I find that volume? So in this case, I have 5 times 3. I don't like writing it that way. 5 times 3 times 2, which gives me what? What's it going to give me there, Paige?
30.
And it's 30 feet cubed. Volume is always cubed because I'm taking feet times feet times feet. Okay? Just give it that exponent of 3 on the word feet. I like doing that. It's not just a minute messing with me. Okay. What is the volume of number 2? How are you going to do it, and what is its volume? What do you think, Miss Kennedy?
So you need to do length times width times height, which is 9 meters times 440.
Okay, so you've got length times width times height. Is there anything else on that one due to the fact that it is a triangular prism? Does that, do we have to do anything else to it? Ah. It's not really length times width times height. On a triangle, it is the area of the base times the height equals the volume. Okay? So it's base times height. And in this case, what's the area of the base? 16. So I've got 16 times 9 equals, so do you see why? I take the base, and in order to get the area of that base, we do 4 times 4. So 16 times 9, and what do you get then?
144.
What?
144. It's the same.
Yeah, because it's 4 times 9, and then it's 4 times 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. 144 meters cubed. And yes, it is, that does work that way, length times width times height. Should I divide that by 2?
I divided it by
doing it like that is like doing a rectangle.
I think it's a third. But why wouldn't it be the same? Because you could make that a rectangle. You could make that a rectangle, but the volume would be different. But see, it shouldn't equal 144.
Okay, how many sides do you have?
You have 4.
You have 4, and if aren't 2 of those sides a rectangle?
Yeah.
But if you
If
make
you
it a rectangle,
This side and laid them opposite, would they not create a rectangle?
They would.
Right, do we divide a rectangle? Mm-mm. This one here, you don't divide either.
that means you only have 2 sides.
But
Really?
Can I?
There are 4 sides on that.
But
There are 4 sides on that.
Can you explain to me because Mrs.
I'm listening.
Okay, so if
You're
you like
You're right.
if you make that a rectangle, it's gonna have a greater volume than
You're right.
if it was
You're right. Mrs. Rakestraw had to back up and look. You're right. Boom. Does that make you feel good? It would. It would. Mrs. Rakestraw missed it.
7.
You are right. You are right. And so when I do that,
I did a thing. I did it right.
you are right. Again, you are right. Okay? I think I've said it 4 times. Okay? Go with the formula. 1/3 times base times height. And so when I do that, what is 1/3 of all of that? 1/3 times 16 times 9 is what, Zane? 48 meters cubed. You are right. Good job. So, with that being said, what is the area of the one on the bottom? What is the volume of the one on the bottom, number 3? We got our formula now, right? Is it the same formula for this one? gonna be the same, isn't it?
Yes.
Sure it is. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna say 1/3. What's the area of the base? 63, because 9 times 7 is 63. Times, what's the height? 7. Raise hand, stop blurting. Let's other people get involved. 1/3 times 63 times 7. Miss Erin, what do you get? 147 inches cubed. I put the dot above the I and went to the 7. Okay? Yes, sir?
I do mine a little different. I multiply all of them on a triangle. I multiply all of them and then I divide by them. Multiply them.
That's, is it gonna give you the same thing? Yes, it is, but I'm going back to what the real formula is, okay? I'm showing you the real formula every time. The capital B says the area of the base, and when you multiply those two together, you're gonna get the same thing. It's all multiplication. Multiplication allows for the commutative property, correct? So it does work that way for you, okay? Okay. What about number 4? Number 4 is a rectangular prism? Square? Just, yeah, rectangular prism. What is the volume of number 4, Zoe? She says take 64 times 10. What do you get when you do that, Zoe? 640 centimeters cubed, right? You gotta keep the centimeters cubed. Good job, though. Again, in this one here, it was length times width times height equals B, okay? Length times width times height. Just getting our brains working on those formulas. Okay, now we're gonna kind of do some stuff with this, and then we're gonna solve for different things. Write a formula for the area of a rectangle. Just write the formula. What is the formula for the area of a rectangle? Only the formula.
Length times width times height.
Length times width equals area. That's all I want to do, is write that formula, okay? Now, I want to solve the formula for B. Well, let's look at, is it my length? Length, width, is B the length? Hello. So could I say B, 8B equals A? Can I say that? Okay. And I can even go back in here and I can plug in, I've got to solve the formula first. That's the formula. Wait a minute, I know what it is. I gotta go back. B is their length, so BW equals A. Do you agree with that? B times W equals A. Look at it, or what length? I'm just saying this equals my L, and this equals the W, right? So you know where those are coming from. Now solve it for B. I don't have any numbers yet, I just have letters. So if I solve it for B, what's the new formula? Zane?
128 divided by 8.
Nope. I don't have any numbers yet. I don't want any numbers yet. I want to solve it for B. Just the way this is written. So if I solve it for B, what is the new formula? I'm rewriting my literal formula.
B equals A divided by W.
My new formula, B equals A divided by W. Absolutely correct. That's the new formula. Okay? What we are doing is, let's make sure we get this, because this is the objective that we're doing today. It's not just about getting the final answer. You have to rewrite those formulas. That's what we're doing. And our lesson is solving literal equations. Solving literal equations. Okay, that is our objective. Okay, now that we've written the new formula, now we can plug in what we know. B equals 128 divided by 8. So what is B?
16.
What is B, Mr. Kenai, whose hand is up and mouth is off? 16? Good. And it's 16, what's my label?
M2.
M, good. Not 2 though, just 1. Because it's just one piece of it, okay? Because actually, look here, Kenai. This was M. This is M. This one's squared, right? So if you're simplifying, you have M squared divided by M, and it would only leave you with 1. Got it? Okay. Write the formula for the volume of a prism. What's the formula? What was that formula we said? Not using numbers, just what is the formula? We did a few of them already today, so what is that formula? Kennedy. Good. L W H equals V. That's the formula. Now, they're calling their L, they're saying this is my L. B and L are the same thing, base. Okay?
Well, isn't it B equal L and W?
Yeah.
Sure does. Sure does. I like that too. So I'm going back to this. I like this one. Okay? But I know what we're going to have. This is what we're used to. Length times width times height is what we're used to, right? This here, LW equals the B. Making sense? Length times width is the area of the base. Do you agree with that? Maybe you need to make a note. Length times width equals area of base equals what we call the B. So we know what a B stands for. That's throwing in a new variable there that we haven't used. Right? Am I right there, folks? You say good, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Solve for B. So if I have base times height equals V, what is the new formula? Solving for B. B is the one I want left on the left-hand side. How do I solve for B? So what letter do I need to get rid of? Who said that? What letter do I need to get rid of? Raise your hand and talk to me. Okay. H. I got to get rid of the H. How do I get rid of it? How do I undo multiplication, Emily? Division. So I'm going to divide by what? I want the B by itself, so which one do I divide by? H. Good. So B equals V divided by H. Do you agree? That's the literal expression for the base, to find the measurement of the base. Okay? Use the new formula to find the area of the base. Using that formula, okay, so what is, the base is what I'm looking for. What is the volume? What does it tell you the volume is? Every hand should be up because everybody can read that and it's not a trick question. So if you haven't been getting involved, this is a good one to get involved on because you can't miss it. So what is the volume of that prism? Paige? 576 meters cubed. That's my V divided by what is the height of that prism? Savannah? 12 meters. Do the math. what is the base of the prism? When you do the math and you got a calculator, again, plug it in and every hand should go up. This is an interactive class. Sitting there and being a bump on a log does not work. Reagan, 48 meters. Do you agree with her, class?
Yes.
She's absolutely correct. Is it squared? Okay. Is it the area of the base?
No, it's the volume.
Actually, it would be.
It would be, and so yes, Darton, it is squared. And another way you know is look here, I've got meters cubed divided by meters. What would be left? 3 meters minus 1 meter would give you 2. So it's meters squared. Okay? That's how we know. Good job, Darton. Okay? Now, we're going to take it. They're giving us an equation, and they're telling us to solve for y. They give us the equation, and they want the solution for y. I got 2 variables. Am I really going to get a real final value for y?
No.
It's not going to look like what you're used to, okay? It's not going to be a specific number, because I don't know what x is. But I will get something that would give me the idea of how to find it, okay? Doing the same thing we were doing, only this time I'm solving for y. That means get y alone. Okay? Alice,
For this one.
tell me what to do.
Well, you can do 2y plus 5x equals 6. You just write that out. And then you can divide on both sides. Your 2y divided by 2 and 6 divided by 2. And you can
Okay, hold on 1 second there. When we're solving for a variable, do we ever start with the variable that we want? Normally we just have one, or do we start with what we call the constant? Do we start with the other part of the equation? The other part of the equation, we still have to with this. And if I do that with this, what do I start by moving? What do I start by moving on this then? Caden?
subtract 5x from both sides.
I start out by moving this out of the way. Well, what's happening to it? What's the operation in front of it? Addition. How do I create that 0 pair? I'm gonna subtract, well, I've gotta do it, I'm moving it, okay? I want it over on the other side, and I'm gonna say minus 5x. So no, I really can't officially subtract that, can I? But I can rewrite that statement this way. Do you agree? Because I've actually added a negative 5x to this side, and I'm rewriting it in such a way that usually we see the variable first. Do you agree? And that's why I rewrote it that way. And because I've got addition, I've got commutative property, and I can move them around. Okay? Now, I need y alone. How do I get rid of the 2 that's attached to the y? Alice? How do I get rid of that 2? I divide it out. So now y equals negative 5x plus 6 divided by 2. Everything has to be divided by 2 there. The 5 would have to be divided by 2, and so does the 6. Okay? So if I do that division, negative 5 halves x, do you agree with that? 5 divided by 2, negative 5 halves x. And then I have, what? What's 6 divided by 2? 3. while ago, when you moved it, only your 6 would have been divided by the 2. The 5 halves wouldn't. Okay, and so that's why I have to make sure I do it this way. Okay? Talk to me.
I was doing it on IXL, and it just has you divided by 2, divided by 2, and then you have y equals 3 minus 5x.
Take a look, open up your book. Open up your book. Page number 28. See the steps there? Okay, that's the way you gotta do it, okay? And that's the way this is, right? Okay? And I don't know, I can't tell you because I didn't see the problem on IXL. So if you want to get into that, bring it to me and let me see because it may not be the same thing that we're doing. All right? And that way we can stop that confusion, okay, babe? Okay. Do you have these steps written down? Okay, and I can tell, well, I'm not sure my step right here. I'm not sure of that. Because right here I can say y equals negative 5x divided by 2 plus 6 divided by 2. That way you know where this came from. I can expand that out so that you see it. Does that help? Does that help you, Paige? If when you go back and look at it, is it going to help you, you think? Did you write it down? Please do so. Please plug this step in so that you can see what my brain was thinking. Got it, Darty? Got it? Okay. Let's do this one. We're going to do it together again. We're going to do this one, and then you guys will do number 2, okay? Let's try it again. Solving for which variable? The y, and so I like to just underline it or something so that I know that's what I'm solving for. Okay? Y has to be alone. How do I undo what's being done up here? What's my first step going to be? I got to get rid of what? Aaron? I got to get rid of the x. You're absolutely correct. How do I get rid of the x or undo subtraction? Kenai?
Addition.
I'm going to add it. So I'm going to add x to both sides. Okay? When I do that, this one cancels out. Do you agree? Leaving 5y equals x plus 10. Do you agree with that? Okay. What do I do next? What do I do next? Zoe? Divide everything up there by 5. I'm going to divide by 5. I'm going to divide by 5. And I'm going to divide by 5. Everything gets divided by 5. Everything. 5 divided by 5 gives me a 1, so I can rewrite that as y. Do you agree? Do I know what x is? No. So I'm going to leave it as x divided by 5, or I could leave it as 1/5 x. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Because there's a 1 in front of that x. I could write it that way. Plus, what is 10 divided by 5? 2. And that's as far as I go. I'm done. Do I really know what y is? Not really. But how am I going to use it in the future? If I take this and substitute where that y is, do I then have only one variable? Only the x. Could I solve for the x then? Yeah. And then could I take that value of the x and multiply, could I Could I put that value for the x here and then solve for the y? Yeah. But, and that's where you're going. That's where you're going, so we gotta get this. And today, all you gotta do is get that one variable that asks for by itself. You do number 2 on your own, and then we're gonna check it. Ask yourself, which letter do I leave on the left? And if you need to do a circle or an underline or whatever to make sure that you know that that's the only thing I want left, then do it. Do whatever it takes to help you remember, what am I solving for? You start out by doing this. 4 plus 4 would be 8. But if I add 4 there, it's not going to be 0. That's what you say. Yeah, you are. Okay, but that's my point though. If you add 4 here, you have to add 4 here, right? Okay, but I'm asking, am I correct? It has to be minus. You're adding a negative 4. 4 minus 4 is 0, so it drops out, leaving this space still there. And if you add the negative 4 here and the negative 4 here, that changes this, doesn't it? It's not going to give it the same thing, is it? Okay? And you're supposed to show your steps.
She always makes you show your steps.
Okay.
So why don't you follow directions for us?
Back up here.
Let's try that again.
I gotta get that out of there first. How did you get that out of there? What is it right now? It's positive, right? How do we do it? Positive.
Yeah, let's try it.
So add a negative.
Try it. Check it.
Okay, and that's where you start. So erase that and go with that. Now, what are you adding here? Or doing here? So then aren't you gonna add a negative 4x over here? So then what do you get when you get the, so you have 1, okay, so you got a negative, you got it out there, but make sure that it's separated enough that you can see it, okay? Okay, here's my question. 4x plus 4x equals what? 4 plus 4 is what? So is that gonna work for you? You want that to 0 out, so what are you gonna add? Right, because that changes what. Well, you started out wrong. All you gotta do is change it by a negative. Erase this, and go from there. Good, and then, good. When you divide by 4 divided by 4 is 1, isn't it? So should that be there? No, get rid of that. And then you have 1 4 plus, you're fine. So, negative 4 divided by 4 is 1. So you're right here, so you just simplify that right there. Does that make sense? And then the 4 is no longer there. So you divide it, you cancel it out. Divide. 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. So this is no longer a part of that. Okay? Same thing I'm seeing all across the room. 4x plus 4x. Okay. But which one do I want left alone? No, you look at it again. I'm solving for each variable. So I don't want the y, the x left alone. I gotta get the x on the other side. Right? Okay. 4 plus 4 is what? So is that gonna get rid of that? How do you add in the negative? 0 pair. So this would be negative and that would be. And then you have to change what you do. Which variable are you solving for? Yeah. This tells me this. This is circle, so I know that's what I want to do. And that tells me. Okay, I got a lot of chat going. I don't know if it's all about math, but take it to that whisper, please. Right, negative 4. Sure. What is negative 4 divided by negative 4? That's okay. You can still simplify that and divide out the 4. Yes. And so that would give you a positive, wouldn't it? Double check your X on that. That's your issue. What was this? So then, yes. Negative 1. Yes, yes. And it's not gonna be a minus in here anymore, either. It's an equal. Yeah, okay. Yes. Is this a 1? Is that really what I wanna do? What should I do? Yeah, exactly that, okay? Show me this that's better than that, come on. Because this I can't follow. You should divide it by 4, that's saying I'm not solving for X, I'm solving for Y. So that's not gonna be correct. I'm solving for this. This is what I want. Okay? No. Okay, I'm gonna work number 2. Working number 2. The Y needs to be alone. So I have to subtract 4X from both sides. Do you agree with that? A lot of people are adding 4X. Well, 4 plus 4 is 8. It's not 0. So that's why it doesn't work. So now this is gone, leaving a negative 4Y equals negative 4X plus 1. Now, I have to undo the multiplication, so I need to divide by negative 4 all the way through. Do you agree with that? Leaving here, negative 4 divided by negative 4 leaves you with 1Y. Do you agree with that? Negative 4X divided by negative 4, I can simplify there, leaves me with X, 1X, plus negative 1/4. I don't have to turn it into a decimal, everything's fine just like it is, and that is as far as I go. Yes, ma'am? I couldn't hear you, what?
It's still okay.
If you have negative 2500ths, that's fine, but I don't have to. Okay? I'm perfectly fine with this. And I'm gonna tell you, you don't even have to simplify that fraction if you get a improper fraction. Leave it alone. Just leave it the way it is. Okay? You can just leave it that way if you want. Same thing, it's the right answer. I wanna know, can you solve for the variable it's asking you? Okay? It is time to move. Bring this with you to class on Monday.